everyone, I wanted to introduce you to a small project that I've got here, and this is basically some audio upgrades for the XJ40, including these rather awesome pair of parcel shelf speakers, which are not technically period correct. I mean, these would be fitted usually to cars which didn't have a more sort of comprehensive sound system, so these would have been ideal on the boot parcel shelf of a Cortina or a Mark II Granada, for example. But I think they look rather cool, so they're going to go into the XJ40. This here is a little amplifier that I got very cheaply on eBay. It is a Pioneer GM41A, and there isn't really much to it. So what I also have is, I've got a Pioneer tape head unit, but I wanted to try and fit this Alpine head unit, which I think is probably early 2000s, judging by the fact it's MP3 capable. Apparently it has a disc in it. It's interesting. Didn't realise it had a disc in it. Rainbow on Stage. I don't know who they are. Oh, 1977. Oh, okay. Well, we'll soon find out if we put it in. Now, it'll be interesting to see if it actually reads the disc. Okay, that's a good start. That's not such a good start. So we'll probably need to start doing a bit of troubleshooting on the amplifier, mainly to make sure that it's actually getting power. So I've got a 12-volt supply over here. It's a bit of a mess, but it is feeding power to the CD player and the amp. The amp doesn't feel like it's getting warm at all. Now, I think there is some kind of switch over for these, so I may have just killed that. That's why you don't just go poking around. You always find out what these things are before you actually touch them. I thought this might be a switching wire for the amp. Maybe it isn't. I am prepared to try that again though, to see if it does the same thing. So that's a relay clicking. And I think that wasn't such a stupid idea after all, because that has actually worked. That is the switch. There is a heck of a lot of feedback, but that might be because we don't have it very well insulated. I mean, it is just cables onto cables onto cables. Yeah, that's just poorly insulated. But if I turn this up, it's not actually sounding too bad. So, well, that's good. This little amp works. So this is the switching wire. That obviously enables it from this wire here. So that's why you were hearing the clicking in there, because that's a relay. If I turn this off, you might actually hear the relay cut out. So where's the power button on this again? So that's source, disk. Yeah, there you go. So you hear the relay click on that. So if I press power, there you go, click. Click again, on, disk, and that seems to work perfectly. So let's check bass. I wonder if it'll actually do it for the... No, I think it will only do different levels of bass and treble for speakers coming off of the unit itself, but if I come out, subwoofer, so it will actually do something for, so the subwoofer function on the head unit will actually do something for these speakers. Increase that to about 6. Balance, don't need to do anything with. Fader, don't need to touch. That's really rather not running badly at all. That is good stuff. So what I'm going to be doing next is neatening up all this wiring, getting it ready to install into the car. And I'm going to pre-install probably, yeah, I'm definitely going to pre-install lengths of wiring. So soldering and shrink wrap wiring. Attach a connector on the car which will allow me to plug it into the existing XJ40 loom. And to do that, I'll just take the connector that's on the car at the moment, so on the head unit at the moment, and cut that away. Obviously leaving enough length on the head unit if I want to re-establish the original connection, and see how we get on with that. So I'm just going to power this down again, because what I want to do now is disconnect the amp. There we go. And I'll just unplug the amp's output on the back here, and we're going to move this out of the way. It can go back into its original box. There we are, there's its original box. There we go. So that's the original box for the amp. Let's take these out of the way. Actually, this box here, which I had the speakers in, would be an ideal home for this little project. That's the budgety way that I do things here. I'm not a YouTuber with lots of money. Right, so we've got a couple of speaker wires here. Thankfully, they seem to have a uniform colouring code on more modern ISO standard equipment. So purple, green, grey and white are your speaker wires. It looks like in this case blue is a switching wire. Yellow is either permanent or switched live, and red is either permanent or switched live. I can't remember which way round they are, if I'm going to be honest. So let's try out the speakers on the head unit. So we're going to see if they work acceptably. So we got grey, and we'll put grey to grey, funnily enough. And you have a little stripe on a lot of these wires. So black, grey, or just straight grey. That's actually white I've just put that into. And usually, from what I recall, that means it's either positive or negative. I think with the stripe it's positive, and without the stripe it's negative. I am happy to be corrected on that. Now we'll take, oh yeah, we don't need that, that's the other one. Now we'll take this green and we'll stick that into the white because we don't have the green one available. It doesn't matter, it is basically testing the speakers, that's all I want to do. So we'll do green into green and that into that one there. There we go. Okay, so let's power on. Probably won't power on anymore if we don't have that installed. That's the negative side. So we'll power on. Let's tuner at the moment. That's a good sign. Go to disc.
Right.
Yeah, that must be skip forward, skip back.
Catch the Rainbow, the song.
That's working rather well. Oh, that's scanning. That's I don't.
A very first one.
The skip buttons are actually on there. You can't actually see what I'm looking at. Okay, so I've got these speakers plugged in, direct into the head unit. So let's just pop up the volume. Yep, they work. So skip forward, skip forward. Oh, that's back to 1. Skip.
Right.
Yeah, that works. Excellent stuff. So we have a head unit which is viable, which is good. So that's ready to go. Actually, that's one thing I'll do. I'll just eject the CD that happens to be in there. I can add that to my collection. Also need to look them up later. See who they are. So I haven't heard of them. They must be famous though, because they're on a Polydor. So that's the disc that was trapped in there. I'm guessing it's well, by the sounds of it, it's 70s rock. I know some, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means. So yeah, I'll be giving those a listen later on and see what I think. So this is the price that I paid for this CD player. That was £10. The amp was £4.99 plus about £3 postage. Reason being because it was untested. And it was a gamble, if I'm going to be honest. The speakers were a gift from a good friend of mine. He knows I like this sort of thing, so whenever he goes junk shopping, he always sort of comes up with something interesting. These were from a junk shop. I don't know how old they are. Aesthetically, I'm going to guess early 80s. But I think they look fantastic, if I'm going to be honest. I think they look really good. They have, from what I can guess, a woofer, a squawker, and another squawker. So I think there's two, well, one bass and two mid-range, which is interesting. So there's probably internal crossover as well. So yeah, this will be coming into the XJ40, and that'll be quite a nice little addition, quite a nice little upgrade. Anyway, that is it for the moment. If you have found this interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.